Hello again, people. This is video 2 of the 4-part videos that I'm going to put together, essentially covering how Texas and the counties and the cities are no longer a de jure government, that they're actually operating rogue for their own purposes and gains. There's many articles in the Constitution that have been violated by these individuals that they no longer pay attention to, and that's for a reason, because they've realized how to make money in multiple ways off the people. What we'd like to do here is go back and let's cover the Texas Transportation Code under subchapter H, section 545, and we're specifically dealing with 545.351, and I'd like to go over that again with you. And if you look on the screen, you can follow along with me on what this does say. I'm getting older, so I'm going to have to use my bifocals in order to be able to see the language clearly. Excuse me for the glasses. However, Section 545.351 of the Texas Transportation Code, maximum speed requirements. And again, A in parentheses, an operator may not drive at a speed greater than is reasonable and prudent under the circumstances then existing. B, an operator. We really don't need to go any further because they don't go any further on this. It all is pretty much essentially saying the same, and you can look at it yourself if you want to get further into detail and see how it applies. Of course, obviously further down it starts talking about a hazard exists. As we go through this, I want you to keep in mind that as I showed you in the first video, when you got your driver's license, you went and picked up a Texas driver's handbook. Well, look in that book and see where it refers to the Texas Transportation Code. Well, you won't find it. Let's go on down and let's review real quickly the next one that they use, which is Section 545.352, which is prima facie speed limits. Now, this is the one that they think they have you on. And if you'll read, we'll read it here aloud. A in parentheses, a speed in excess of the limits established by subsection B. Okay, and we've got to put B in here. We've got to insert it. I don't know why they didn't just insert it themselves, but let's insert it. Unless a special hazard exists that requires a lower speed for compliance with section 545.351B, the following speeds are lawful. Okay, well, if we go back to 545.351, it says B, an operator. So it's talking about an operator. Well, you don't happen to be an operator, but let's don't challenge that right now. Anywhere in these two sections, does it actually refer to a posted speed? As they say, you violated the speed. Well, nowhere. So we've stuck B into the sentence. In short, it's saying if a hazard exists. Okay, a special hazard exists. That's the words. That's the section that needs to be put in there, or under other provisions of the subchapter, is prima facie evidence that the speed is not reasonable and prudent, and that the speed is unlawful. Okay. Nothing about posted speed, but you have to have a hazard in order to establish any kind of speed controls. Rain, an accident, ducks walking across the road, something. You got to have something. But let's go ahead and let's take us, the people traveling around this country in our personal vehicles, which you didn't see anything allude to that. Let's go ahead and read 201.904. This is under Subchapter K, roads and highway use signs. 201.904, speed signs. The department shall erect and maintain on the highways and roads of the state appropriate signs that show the maximum lawful speed for commercial motor vehicles, truck tractors, truck trailers, truck semi-trailers, and motor vehicles engaged in the business of transporting passengers for compensation or hire, in parentheses, buses, period. Now, nowhere in that section did you see anything about a posted speed. Excuse me, I gotta have my cranberry juice. People, this deception's been going on for so many years, and they've made billions off of this. It's a fraud. It's a deception. And well, let's move on. We obviously know it's just an attempt to be able to stop people and steal their money. Has been for many years. And if I seem like I'm a little harsh about our system of government, well, we don't have a system of government. And I can prove that at every level in court. And I'm proving it right now. I have more evidence in this one case that they've put in my hands. The government, does your government, as you think, doesn't exist. What does exist is a corporation. And here's one good one for you to just check, just to think about. How does government people have unions? Did you know police have police unions? How is that associated with government? Are you kidding me? These people are servants. Since when does a servant have a union? That's every bit of an element of a corporation. But we'll move on from that. You know, I don't expect everybody to wrap their head around that, but just throwing it out there for food for thought. Now, we're going to go to the video real quick, and we're going to see just the section that has to deal with Pittman and I standing out back. And this is where allegedly I failed to properly ID myself. And I just want to play this again so that you have your head around what we're talking about here. I'll get back to you after the video. I'd like to go see a magistrate.
Let's go back over here.
I haven't committed any criminal acts.
You were speeding, sir?
No, sir, I was not. You don't know the code.
Okay, do you have any Texas ID?
Well, yeah, just get. Well,
this is in Mexico.
I got my VA card.
Okay, is this your name?
See me for? Yes, that's my name.
That's your American name?
That's my American name.
What's your name?
Michael Dorset.
That's not what that says here.
Oh man, God.
What's your date of birth?
It says right there.
What's your date of birth? It's not on there. Date of birth
7/18/55. Okay, so we have seen that scene again. Played out kind of the same way, didn't it? Well, as in the first video and the second video, nothing changed, but let's just kind of go over, review the facts. Mr. Pittman has me moved to the rear of the car. That's simply so he can get me on video. He's trying to set up a platform. That platform allows for two things: either to get arrested or to get shot. Okay? I've been here, I've watched this, and I'm going to share something with you people. All over YouTube, you can Google up police brutality, police incidences, illegal police acts. You can look up, there's literally thousands of YouTube videos of the abuse by police. Some of them is horrific. In fact, they've got one in Key West, Florida, where they literally tased a man and had him face down in the sand on the beach and killed the man. And there's a video of it. The man's purple. He's dead. They can't revive him. When they started deposing the police, well, these guys don't know anything about anything. They don't know who all was there, what all police officers there. Let me tell you something. This is a group of individuals, and I'm going to say this again. You've got to get it in your head. These are nothing more than Walmart guards. These people are thugs with guns. They're closet murderers. They are not your friends. There are no such thing as good police officers. Good police officers go out and arrest other police officers because they know that their job is the protection of the people. You ask a police officer if he's responsible to protect you, he's going to tell you that's not his job. People, you lost them, okay? They don't have a duty to protect you, okay? Sad situation. But what's different about my situation is yeah, we had this incident with this police officer. We've shown that he's abusive, that he doesn't know his ass from Shinola. The point here is I'm carrying this thing forward. And I'm going to take it all the way to the top. And that's what these videos are for, is to show you exactly how it's done and what kind of evidence is out there to nail these suckers for their stupidity. But the sad part about all of this is that until people stand up and realize that these guys that are walking around with guns and badges and identifying themselves as police officers for the safety and protection and law enforcement, that's a hoax, people. That's a damn lie. The evidence is all over the place. God. Anyway, my videos are going to do that, and I'm going to do some of it in this video here. So let's go back to Pittman's stop. What's the first thing I did? I asked to go to a magistrate. Again, that's not an option. He blew past that because he's an idiot. Pittman fails to properly establish a probable cause. He ignores it. He ignores the challenge to his probable cause or him even stopping me. He ignores the Texas Transportation Code. This man ignores everything that we have for our protection. Let me tell you something. He should have been arrested. Is he in jail today? No. Does the Texas Rangers or anybody else that has knowledge of the crime do anything about it? No. Everybody in Henderson County that's a prosecutor, a judge, or a police officer is aware of this case, hasn't made any arrest, including the district attorney, let alone the county attorney who's in on it. Nobody's getting arrested. People, that's called 18 U.S.C. Section 4. That's a misprision of a felony. Now, I'm telling you, there's a club going on here, and you're not part of it. You're just a slave. But let's go on here. Pittman asked for another ID, other form. I offered to him my VA card. Did he say go get it? No, he did. He never did that. He didn't want to see that other form. What's the first thing he starts doing? Now, I want you to keep in mind, remember, I gave him my legal Mexican driver's license, my photos on it, my name's on it. You've seen it. You know what it looks like. I'll post it back up here for you. But then he asked me the question, is this your name? Is this your legal American name? And I answered and I responded, yes. What is your name? Michael Dorset. What does he say? That's not on here. Well, you got to be pretty damn stupid to not be able to see my name on that license, as you can see there. So I take it out of his hand and I point out to him where my name is at. Okay. Well, still, once I point it out to him, he doesn't look at it, and he says to me, it's not on there. God. What do you want me to say? You're looking at it yourself. All he wants to do is get a date of birth. There is so much wrong with this stop and all the thousands of videos on YouTube about police that I can't understand why the people haven't jumped up. You as people haven't jumped up and screamed and hollered, because the fault for this is with your judges, your prosecutors, your politicians. They're helping passiveness. People, I'm going to tell you something. Government is for the people, by the people. And when there's legislation passed, and they're going to argue with this, when you're passing legislation that benefits business, the government isn't for the people, it's for the business. Well, what does that make it at that point? Maybe we need to study our Constitution and the amendments, and especially the one where it says, hello, the government's not in the business of business. Well, if you're protecting business and not the people, come on, people. Like I told you before, the handwriting's on the wall. Are you going to step back and call it a forgery? I'm asking you to get smart here. And I know somebody said to me, well, you're talking down to the people. You know, what do I need to do to wake you up? God, if I played music, maybe if I had, I don't know, kids playing in the background, kind of get your attention, flowers going, I don't know, whatever it takes to get your attention. But I'm going to put these documents up here, and I'm going to explain to you what they're saying. So, here's Pittman. A complete, utter idiot, and you're seeing it on YouTube. You're seeing it on a video. There's a crap load of them on YouTube. Go look at them. God, this is what law enforcement is about. It's a joke. In Texas, it is an utter joke. And they don't want to stand in front of me and listen to this conversation because I'll tell them exactly what it is. They're garbage. They're Walmart, thugs with guns, closet murderers. Look, let me tell you something about these people, okay? This is the mentality that I'm fixing to show you that might scare you if you stop and think about it, okay? The mentality of the people that's in politics, judges, prosecutors, and police officers have a parallel mentality to that of a pedophile, okay? They just are not going to change. Nothing you can do will change them. They're going to go the same direction they're going. They're going to hurt people for their own self-satisfaction, gratification. Come on, people. You might as well just call a pedophile and them one and the same. Although they may not be hurting children, they are hurting children. Because they're hurting people. They're hurting parents. God. I've seen videos where cops have run up on a 8-year-old kid holding a plastic gun and shot him dead. Man, let me tell you something. This is so sick that we're losing this, and you're sitting here doing nothing. I'm asking you to get out there and get involved in this. Remove these idiots. I'm going to tell you this. There shouldn't be one law enforcement officer. There shouldn't be one prosecutor. There shouldn't be one judge. There shouldn't be one politician in office that can't pass an independent psychological evaluation and a competency evaluation. Without those two, well, you got what you got. I'm going to give you about another, at this rate of speed that we're traveling and ignoring this, I'm going to give you about 3 to 5 months. And most of you will probably be incarcerated somewhere, shot. These guys are out of control. You're going to see paramilitary forces that are policemen rolling down the road in personnel protection carriers, like the military does. They're going to run around with 50 caliber weapons on top, and they're trying to take your guns away. They're probably going to come to your house and say, hey, we passed a law and you can't protect yourself anymore. Anyway, well, look, let's move on to the next document here. Obviously, that is the citation. There's evidence right there that Mr. Pittman knew who I was. It's got my name on it. I signed the citation. You see it. There's my driver's license. Got my name on it. It's not expired. It's got the license number on it. It's a legal driver's license. What more evidence do you need than that? Well, this goes into the next stage. I'm going to show you some more documents, and then I'm going to do some more explanation here. Okay, you're looking at an affidavit for an arrest warrant under cause number M2170009. This affidavit for arrest warrant was created by a second police officer with the City of Eustis Police Department named Brandon Neal Cross. Now, Brandon Neal Cross has an affidavit, or has a oath of office, just like Johnny Pittman does. They swore out to uphold the Constitution of both the United States and Texas and all the laws there within. Well, that document's probably somewhere in their trash, although I got a copy of the original that they signed. Now, we're looking at this affidavit, and as you read through it, based on the video that was in one, and actually this little clip right here, these individuals somehow came up with the conclusion that I failed to properly ID myself. That's called perjury, people. That's a felony. I believe it's 3 years. Anyway, so they charge Dorset Michael Leonard, date of birth 7/18/1955, and then they put some driver's license number on there that I rescinded quite a while back. I gave it back to him because it doesn't belong to me, and I don't want anything that doesn't belong to me, and I don't need to have a driver's license from Texas to drive on any international roads or state roads. Look, people, there's so many treaties out there that these bimbos with room temperature IQs don't know about, such as Pan American Treaty. We have travel rights for people all the way from Panama all the way up to Canada. They have the right to travel these roads, and guess what? In those treaties, they can't be taxed, they can't be penalized, they can't be abused. You can't do that to these people. That's what's in that treaty. Remember that driver's license I offered up? I guess where there is no law, it's total anarchy. That's where you're going with this. But Mr. Cross goes with this affidavit, and he visits a justice of the peace judge. We'll turn that one up for you. Mr. Kevin Pollock over in Precinct 2 of Henderson County. And you see that document there. Well, that's the arrest warrant. Well, as you examine this document, it says the arrest warrant. Don't you think a judge had an opportunity or a duty to take a look at the video? Because obviously none of the police officers know what that dash cam video is for. The evidence eluded their brain, so you would think a judge would say, well, do you have any evidence that the guy did this? We got this affidavit here, Judge, and I talked to Pittman, and he said that's what it is. Well, look, people, why didn't Pittman fill out the affidavit? Well, I have news for you. 2 weeks after this incident, Mr. Pittman resigned from the Eustis Police Department and went out, and I guess now he's teaching people how to use a gun and get certified on how to shoot other people. I don't know that I would have any confidence in that weasel, but, you know, what the heck. Bottom line is, so Brandon Cross gets a warrant signed by this Justice of the Peace Judge, Kevin Pollock. There's so much crime there, I don't even know where to begin with it. It's an illegal warrant now. And it says on there that I'm supposed to be returned to Judge Pollock upon my arrest. You're looking at it right there on the arrest warrant. Well, on June 19th of 2017, I walked into the municipal court lobby of the City of Eustis to file my challenge to the jurisdiction. Okay? And lo and behold, the clerk procrastinated and fooled around, and while she had called up the police chief, Mr. Jason Perini, and told him, hey, Michael Dorset's over here. And this man runs over real quick, goes in the clerk's office, picks up the documentation, turns around, goes back outside, and then comes back in. And I have a friend there with me, and he walks up to me and he says, Michael Dorset? And of course, obviously, I turn and say, yes. He says, you're under arrest for failure to properly ID, TPC 38.01. And arrest me right there. Now, he's got a hold of the warrant in his hands. Here, the chief of police fails to supervise his people and follows through with an arrest, but to show that this is a pattern of conduct with these room temperature thugs with guns, wannabe closet murderers, he arrests me and takes me to Henderson County and checks me in. I never got to see Judge Pollock, as the warrant said, do. So what we've learned here is that three people, Johnny Pittman and Brandon Neil Cross and Jason Perini, two police officers, city police officers, and a city police chief for the city of Houston, all corroborated in creating a fraudulent arrest. That's a RICO Act if I've ever seen one. Met all of the criteria of that. This also meets conspiracy, malfeasance of office, perjury of their oaths. I could run a list so long that these guys could never get out of jail again. I just gave you a few. Can you get a Texas Ranger to come up and investigate this crime? Not on your dying breath are you going to get a piece of shit ranger to come up here and investigate this claim. Now, I'm going to tell you the truth, people. Texas Rangers don't come and arrest police officers when they're bringing money in. Okay? I don't know. Maybe I've lost faith in the system in Texas because the system doesn't work. Okay? People are being hurt every day. People are being robbed from every day from garbage just like this. And you know what? Your governor knows that. Your attorney general knows that. What's his name? The lieutenant governor? He knows that. Every politician knows about it. And all the lawyers, defense and prosecutors all know about it. They all know because it's all about money. It's big business. And putting somebody in jail, well, that's a payment to the jail. How are they paying to keep that jail open? You got to arrest and put people in there because they get paid for every person every day they're in that jail. God, this is a business, people. I don't know what else I can do to prove it to you, just in this small move right here. But I'm going to tell you something. When they checked me in, I'm going to tell you what else happened. And I can't get the evidence from them. But a woman checked me in. And then she had two little cronies there stand beside me as she checked me in. And because I would not remove my clothes, they took me, put me in a cell, and the two guys took my clothes off while she videoed me. They stripped me naked and left me in a cold cell with no food, no phone, no clothes. It's cold ass for 30 hours, approximately, give or take some, before somebody came to bail me out. I had a Mexican driver's license. Did anybody call the Mexican consulate? I never got a call. Do these people follow rules? No. We hire people that are room temperature IQ. Why? Because they need to make $10 an hour or $15 an hour to go home and pay their bills. And they don't give a shit about anybody else. I'm sorry. Look, people, let me apologize if I seem a bit sarcastic, if I seem a bit insulting. If you don't like the way I talk about, allegedly, our government in Texas, but I'm going to tell you something, people. I spent 4 years in the Navy. I joined to serve and protect this country, the Constitution and all the laws there within, and its people. Okay? I did not serve to protect this kind of horseshit. Okay? And if I seem a little bit passionate about that, well, please forgive me. Look beyond me to the point. Because here's what's really going to be sad. You ignore this, and one day there's a dash cam video of a couple of officers slamming your daughter or your wife or your granddaughter up on the hood of the car, maybe onto the deal, and he's feeling her off, damn near got hands all up in her and all over. That's all on dash cam, and then when you go to do something, file something, they tell you, well, we got qualified immunity, so we didn't do anything wrong. We did what we were supposed to do. These are people that don't have any respect for you because they know they're protected by the system, by all of the brain-damaged individuals that are prosecutors, judges, politicians, lawyers. People, you're just a short distance away from it all being gone. You're enslaved right now, and you can get out of it, but you need to make a move now. You need to start removing these people from office. You need to start acting now. You don't have much time left. I'm carrying my case all the way through, and yes, I will prevail on it. It may take a little bit of time. Not much, because I'm not following the same path as the lawyers want to take. And I've got a lot of pissed off people in the system because I found my way around all of the bullshit straight to the target where the money's at. But in the process, you're going to see in these videos that I expose them and I show that's just a bunch of corrupt people. It's a business, people. It's not a government. It's not your government, because that government's supposed to protect you. Remember, it's a government for the people, by the people. The people that are running it aren't there for you. They admit it. Ain't a damn thing about that government in Texas that's for you. Think, when's the last time government did anything for you? For you. Were they there before your house burnt down? Were they there before you had that heart attack? Were they there before somebody broke into your house, stole all your stuff? Were they there before your kid was shot on the street? No. Were they there before you had that accident? No, they're only cleanup people, okay? They only clean up, and then you pay them to clean up. They solve very little crime. That's not their big forte. Their biggest thing is collecting money for the system. So, well, I'm putting up here on the page now a copy of the challenge to the jurisdiction I filed. This is the cover page. It's about a 35 to 37 page document. And I'll give you my email address. You're more than welcome to contact me. It's Michael at mdorset.net. If you want information on how a challenge to the jurisdiction is, or how mine looks and how it's formatted and I filed. Now, I'm going to tell you something, people. When you file a challenge to the jurisdiction, everything stops at that point. Read the first line. You can file them at any time. And the minute you file them, it stops everything until they establish their authority. They do not answer these. Now, let me tell you something. If you've got a de jure government and they have the authority they think they have, they would answer that in a heartbeat, and you'd be back in there defending yourself against the accusation, the claim, or the citation. They never answer these. And a lot of times the case just goes off into oblivion. Well, guess what? The municipal court in this particular case, Eustis, which is run by a Susan Carver, another scam artist in the series of people they've got in Eustis and Henderson County. She sets multiple courts. Now, lawyers changed this, the law did, so that judges can sit on multiple courts, but the Constitution doesn't say that. It says one emollient per position. You're a judge in one city, one emollient, not two, not three. But they went in and changed that, so they can push these judges around wherever they want to, so it helps them, not you. God, love the way they just walk all over that Constitution, don't you? Without changing the Constitution or giving you an option to agree to it. Well, anyway, here's the challenge to the jurisdiction. Like I said, you see that it was filed on June 21st. That was the day after I got out of jail. I finally got to complete I went to court and I challenged her on that. She hadn't done a damn thing since, because she doesn't know what to do. And she's probably hoping that I don't blow up like a hand grenade with some kind of lawsuit on her. Well, I got news for her. If her insurance company doesn't pay it, she's going to end up being responsible. But that's for another video. Anyway, so right now in Eustis, first of all, you don't want to drive through Eustis because it's a criminal town. Okay? You've got a mayor and you've got people there, and I believe the mayor's name is Dustin something or another. But you need to look up Eustis, and you need to look at the mayor and the city council people. They negligently hire these individuals. Now, here's an interesting part. They've been through 2 police chiefs. One of them resigned, and the other one was arrested. Now, how is it that none of the police weren't arrested? In that small of a town, you're telling me they didn't know what the police chief was doing? Yeah, right. I knew everything my brother was doing. I knew everything my sister was doing. I know everything my mother was doing. Okay? When you're living in the same house, you know what everybody's doing. And not one of those police officers got arrested that was a subordinate. I'm telling you, people, the Texas Rangers came in to make it look good like they're doing something. But they're not doing anything. They're just part of the big scam. There are people running around with badges and guns pretending to be people of authority, and they're nothing more than thugs and closet murderers. Well, some of them jump out of the closet and actually kill people. Well, anyway, so let's move on to the next video here, and I'm going to explain to you the remaining documents as we move into Henderson County now to deal with the failure to ID. This was way outside of the jurisdiction of the municipal courts, so now I'm in the county courts. Be back with you here shortly. Okay, people, we're back again here looking at the complaint by Bradley H. Gray. Before we get into this complaint, I want to go back and inform you about something else. We have another justice of the peace involved in this. This is a gentleman in Henderson County over Precinct 1. The justice of the peace, his name is Randy Daniel. Another piece of garbage that doesn't know law, doesn't follow the law. He came in a few hours before I was going to be released to arraign me Okay, well, people, I'm going to share some information with you. There's a case out there. You can look it up yourself on the internet. It's called Ex parte Garcia, 1977. It's a Texas Supreme Court case. And it's pretty clear. It says that before they take you to jail, they have to take you to a magistrate. If you'll remember, when I was back in the street with Pittman, and he kept threatening to take me to jail, or when I asked to go to a magistrate, that's what I was telling you. You don't have any options there. This case is crystal clear, and no case has ever superseded this case. Okay? When Mr. Daniels appeared in the jail to arraign me, I told him, I said, I challenge your jurisdictional authority. And I asked him if he's a magistrate, and he said, I'm here to arraign you. Well, I'm not there to be arraigned, but he told me, he made it crystal clear to me that if I didn't go along with their scheme, I wasn't getting out of there. Well, let me put it to you this way. When you're butt naked, and they only put a pair of shirt and pair of pants on me long enough to be before the judge, because they didn't want me standing in front of him butt naked like they'd kept me. And here's another thing, too. Who made the decision to remove my clothes? Because I was a danger to myself or to everyone around me? Look, I've never considered suicide or hurting anyone other than when I was instructed to in the Navy. And I've never hurt anybody since I got out of the Navy, nor have I hurt anybody since I got out of this case. I've never considered suicide. So who carried the medical or the psychological ability to make that education, to make that decision to remove my clothes? Oh, you're going to tell me you ran somebody in there to come see me? Well, you know what? He needs to carry his happy ass in and make a decision right there. Not answering a person's questions doesn't make them dangerous psychologically to themselves or to anyone else. That's just an attempt to abuse you to follow their scheme. But anyway, let's move on. Mr. Daniels had a duty as a judge. He also signed an oath, and he failed to carry it through. So right now you have 3 judges, Municipal Court Judge Susan Carver, you have Justice of the Peace Kevin Pollock, and you have Justice of the Peace Precinct 1, Randy Daniels. Look, these people should be taken out and prosecuted and put in jail for life. But there are servants, they're put in those positions, and obviously I can't motivate people to jump up and do anything about it, and I don't even know if the people in Henderson County will get together to do it. But if you're watching this video, I'm going to tell you, there is a way. You need to start a petition. And it only takes a certain percentage of the people to sign that petition, put their name and address on there that are citizens of that county, residents of that county. You can remove anybody you want. You can put a whole host of names on there and get all of them removed. There's a way to do these things. Let me tell you something. You start removing people, and it won't take a couple of weeks, and I guarantee you everybody's going to start falling in line. But if you don't do anything, then why should they do anything? Go figure. That Constitution and your rights and your children and their children and the future of your seed isn't important enough to get up there and do something about this before it gets out of hand, is it? That's another reason why I hate to admit it to you, but it's the truth. I moved to Mexico because I'm afraid of you people. I'm afraid of your sitting there and not doing anything. And if you don't like being pounded on, well, I'm sorry, but sometimes the truth hurts. And my son used to say, well, Dad, you don't have to be so hard about it. You know what? My son turned out to be pretty good. I was really hard on him. But life is hard. Okay? It doesn't hand you roses. And I'm going to tell you something. There's nobody in government going to hand you a damn thing. In fact, they're all sitting there figuring out how they can collect from you and how they're going to get their pension and how they're going to be able to have vacations. Let me tell you something, man. People are working hard out there and they're suffering and they're dying. And people like Randy Daniels, Kevin Pollock, Susan Carver, Johnny Pittman, Brandon Cross, and Jason Perini don't give a shit about you. And anything they say is nothing more than a lie coming out of their mouth. I wouldn't trust them with a dead dog that just got run over in the street. Ain't no telling what they'd do with that. But anyway, let's move on. So here we have this complaint. Now, having city municipal police commit perjury is nothing new. That happens every day, every week, every month, every year. This is normal. That's routine practice for these thugs with guns, closet murderers, perverted pieces of shit. But let's look at the complaint here that was entered into the Henderson County Court at Law 2. Now this court is under Judge Nancy Adam Perryman. Now she's been around a long time, married to a wealthy guy. I can't even tell you how many times she's destroyed somebody's life or treated somebody like a piece of garbage, and we're going to get to that. But let's just start with this right here. You have a county attorney. His name is Clint Davis. He's over all the prosecutors in Henderson County. The prosecutor that's handling this case, his name is Barry Lee Spencer. Now they have a investigator, I guess, police officer of some kind, that works for the attorney's office, and he drafts up this complaint. Now, how does a third-party person who wasn't even at the scene draft up a complaint and then swears to it? People, are y'all catching on to anything here? A third-party complaint by somebody out of the prosecutor's office, signed and notarized, certified. You know, in fact, it's got the prosecutor's name on it, Barry Spencer. I've been in the insurance business so long, and I've studied law for over 6.5 years. And I'm watching what politicians and prosecutors, judges and lawyers are doing to you. And it is literally pathetic to create a complaint like this and then put it in the court. That's called perjury. And then, not only that, but it doesn't even match the video. It says I failed to properly identify myself. How does that happen? Did nobody watch the video? Well, anyway. So they turned around and they created, after they did the complaint, here comes Mr. Spencer, the prosecutor, and he creates what they call information. And he mirrors the statement from Bradley H. Gray. I'm going to tell you something, people. Everything from Clint Davis, the county attorney, all the way down to these two jerkwads, has created perjury and felonies that I can't even begin. Misprisons and felonies. There's so many crimes here in this one move. Nothing matches. But this is what we call our law enforcement. This is what we call the justice system. Come on, people. The evidence is right here in front of you. Read it. See it. We did turn around, and after receiving this, we also received a notice that there was going to be a hearing on October 26th of 2017 for an arraignment. Well, if you'll notice as we flip through there, I filed a challenge to the jurisdiction in there as well. And again, they never answered that. In fact, the day that we went into court with Miss Perryman, I pointed out that I wasn't there for an arraignment because I'm not being arraigned for anything because I have a challenge for the jurisdiction in there. And the law is crystal clear on challenge to the jurisdiction. And like I said before, the court doesn't have jurisdiction until it reestablishes its jurisdiction. He got nothing in writing from her. But you know what she said? Well, I never saw that. Well, I got a file date stamp copy of it in my records. And if she's not getting her information, what does that tell you? How competent is the clerk or that court? But they finally went and found it. And then we started this discussion. And she didn't like the fact that she didn't have any authority over me. So she took the next best thing in her mind. And she said, well, I'll just have you arrested. Bailiff, come here. And she arrested me in the court. Now, when you don't have jurisdiction, when you don't have authority, you can't attack a civilian. You just can't do that. She had me arrested and she had me taken over out of the way until she felt like dealing with me. That's about as criminal act as you could possibly get. Everybody in that damn county wants to arrest somebody that's in authority. God, I bet they just can't wait until Walmart's turned into a concentration camp and they can just start throwing people in there left and right. And probably go to their house and get their dead-gum guns and just for target practice shoot through the fence at the people. This is how pathetic this is. These are people that have bar certification numbers. These are people who have gone to school and studied law and claim to be the upholders of the constitutions of the United States and of Texas and all the laws there within. That's these people. Violating every due process right you have, every constitutional right you have. I'm going to tell you something. Right now, what I see, Henderson County is a toilet that's never been flushed in 50 years. It's full of shit. And every person that's in their judicial system, their prosecutorial system, and their police department needs to be arrested. And that includes the county sheriff because he propagates the treatment that happens in the county jail that happened to me. There are no good law enforcement or justice system in that county at all, with none of the cities and none of the county. And it's amazing. You can't get the Texas Rangers to take a look at this even with evidence laying on the table. I know because I've sent it to them. Well, people, I'm not going to take up any more time. You see enough of the evidence here on the table as it is. You see that I had a date to appear, and I did appear. And you also will look at the next document after that, and you'll see where the judge sent me back with a female prosecutor by the name of Rebecca Ray. And by the time my counsel, a good friend of mine, Lewis Moore, explained to her exactly what happened, she went out there and asked the judge to dismiss the case because she knew this thing was about to go into the toilet and wasn't going to get any better for them. Well, it's not over, people. See, they thought that if they just dismissed it, I'd go down the road, but I had to put up a $5,000 bond. That's money out of my pocket. I had to make trips back to this Nowhereville town in Texas that's a lawless, anarchist system. Okay? Let me tell you something. Every person walking around with a badge in that county, whether it's city or county or state, is a piece of garbage. They're thugs with guns, they're closet murderers, and they're lawless. And they don't give a damn about protecting you. They're garbage, people. They all got the same pedophile mentality of they're parallel. They want to hurt people for their self-gratification. They're hung on themselves. They're so arrogant, it's pathetic. And the prosecutors and the judges are the same. Okay, well, I can repeat that over and over and over, but here's the, if you look on the docket, to make it look good for themselves, which I challenged, they said they dismissed it in the interest of justice. Why do you think they didn't put on there they dismissed the case due to lack of probable cause? People, this isn't complicated. You're just slaves on the plantation, and they're coming to show you how that works. In my next video, I'm going to show you where we are taking this. We're attempting to take deposition on all these people under what is called a 202 petition. Now, I'm going to tell you they're going to scream qualified immunity. They don't have any, but here's the thing. You're going to find that they bring in another judge and they're going to help whitewash this thing. But here's the problem with all that. I bypassed the judicial system and went straight to the carriers. There's a county carrier. It's called the Texas Association of Counties, and there's also a carrier for the city, which is called the Texas Municipal League Intergovernmental Risk Pool. I've already filed claims with both of these in the proper time, and they were verified claims. Well, I'll get into all of that in the next video, showing you how to file a claim. This is when you're standing in the living room right before the king's throne, and they don't know how the hell you got there. Well, as I told you, I'm an insurance adjuster. I've studied law. Those are the two things that kicks their ass. They can't stop. But here's what they are worried about. There's a civilian that doesn't have a bar card, as to say, or a certification number, and he's intelligent, and he has the law in his hands, the constitutional law, and he has insurance in his hands, and he's wrapping this around our throat. Well, what do you think they're going to do? I'm going to cover all that in the third video with you. Listen, hope you enjoy these videos. I hope they're educational for you. I'm sorry if I seem so sarcastic, but please wake up and do something. And enjoy this picture with my wife and I down in Mexico. We're chilling. Look to see you in the next video.